Hello all, this is Universal Group of Institutions, Bangalore. So Jammu and Kashmir is set to hold its first assembly elections in a decade, a significant event since the region was reorganized as a union territory in the year 2019. The last assembly elections were held in Jammu and Kashmir and it took place in the year 2014, making this upcoming election a milestone after 10 years. Scheduled in 3 phases for September as well as October 2024, this election marks the first opportunity for Jammu and Kashmir residents to vote for an assembly since the historic changes brought by the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act. Jammu and Kashmir. So, starting up with India, so what are the areas that they control? Approximately 55% of the original princely state of Jammu and Kashmir is controlled by India. What are the regions in Jammu and Kashmir that they control? It's mainly going to be Jammu, Kashmir Valley as well as Ladakh, where we have Leh as well as Kargil. Administration. So since the reorganization of the state in 2019, Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into 2 union territories, that is Jammu and Kashmir as well as Ladakh. What about Pakistan? What are the areas that Pakistan controls? So Pakistan controls approximately 35% of the region. What are the regions that they control? The names of the regions are Azad Jammu and Kashmir as well as Gilgit-Baltistan. Pakistan administrators, how they do is they do it separately. Azad Jammu and Kashmir have its own government, while Gilgit-Baltistan is governed more directly by the Pakistan. So area controlled by China is approximately 20% of the region is controlled by China. And what are the regions that they include? It's mainly going to be Aksai Chin. And what about the administration? Aksai Chin is controlled and administered by China as a part of its Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Why are they doing elections now? Why now? SC, while delivering its verdict on the constitutionality of abrogation of Article 370, it made certain observations. So what were the observations? We hold the exercise of presidential power to issue constitutional order abrogating Article 370 of Constitution as valid. This was the sentence that was made. Also, Article 370 was an interim arrangement due to all the war conditions that were happening in the erstwhile state. The court said that the state of Jammu and Kashmir does not have any integral sovereignty different from other states of the country. All provisions of the Indian constitutions can be applied to Jammu and Kashmir, said the CJI. So, court has also observed that Jammu and Kashmir became an integral part of India, and this is evident from the Article 1 and Article 370 while pronouncing the judgment, and very clearly said that steps to be taken by the Election Commission to conduct elections of Jammu and Kashmir Assembly by September 30, 2024. So, court has also directed in the government to restore the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. Reservation of SC and ST. The Parliament also passed the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Bill of the year 2023, which provides reservation for 7 seats for the SC and for the first time 9 seats for ST. And you will see that Jammu and Kashmir will now be having 114 assembly seats. In that, 24 will go for Pakistan occupied Kashmir, 43 will go for Jammu, 47 will go for Kashmir, and 5 MPs will be there where no preservation has been provided. What about the phases? You will see that with 88,66,704 of electors as per the electoral rolls, election is conducted in 3 phases. And they have approximately 12,000 polling stations. To be more precise, they have 11,838 polling stations, which covers 90 assembly seats across the Union territory. The first phase with 24 areas covering sensitive areas, which could be Pulwama, or it could be Kulgam, or it could be Doda. All these districts, which are considered more challenging in terms of security. The second phase is going to have 26 areas, which will have elections in areas like Rajouri, Poonch and Srinagar and everything. Finally, the third phase will cover Jammu, Udhampur and Baramulla districts with 40 constituencies in total. This election is the shortest in the past 28 years. It is third union territory after Pondicherry and Delhi to have a legislative assembly. So the UT of Pondicherry, which was under the French rule for 138 years. On November 1st, 1954, the French possessions in India were de facto transferred to the Indian Union and it ended up becoming a union territory. But only in 1963 that Pondicherry became officially an integral part of India, with the Passage Act in 1963 enacted by the Indian Parliament. The Government of Union Territories Act of 1963 that came into force on 1st July 1963. So this introduced the same pattern of government that prevailed in the rest of the country, creating a legislative assembly. Whereas they had another constitutional amendment that was in the 69th year. So this is a milestone in the entire Delhi's history as it got a legislative assembly with the enactment of National Capital Territory Act 1991. Will there be assembly in Ladakh? So Ladakh has a population of approximately, the population is pretty less, okay. So it has like around 2.74 lakh. According to the 2011 census this is, and it is situated in the northernmost part of India, and borders will be the Tibet province of China to the east, you have the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh to the south, and the Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir will be present in the west. It also has a sharing border with Pakistan. Now how do I divide Ladakh? I will divide Ladakh into two districts, that is Leh and Kargil. What is the future of Ladakh? What is going to happen to Ladakh? Who is going to take Ladakh? Everything. So in August 2019, the government revoked Article 370 of the Constitution, the legislation which gave special status to the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir. Subsequently, what happened is Ladakh, which came under Jammu and Kashmir, and Jammu and Kashmir itself became two separate union territories. Since then, people are demanding statehood and safeguards under the 6th schedule of the Constitution of India. What is 6th schedule? The 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution aims to protect tribal populations and their interests through autonomous governance. It is applicable to a lot of other regions like Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram also. The 6th schedule establishes autonomous institutional mechanisms which have legislative, judicial as well as executive powers for governance. The councils derive all their powers, all their functions directly from the constitution only. People in Ladakh, where there's a 97% of the population is only tribal, have been holding protests demanding the union territory. They want this union territory to be a part of the 6th schedule for the local councils to have autonomy over protection of its environment and culture. What are the challenges that we're going to face over here? So holding elections in Jammu and Kashmir presents a lot of challenges due to the region's unique geopolitical solution. What are the few key challenges that we are supposed to give our focus on? First of all, you have the security concerns, that is militancy and insurgency. The presence of militant groups and ongoing insurgency in parts of Jammu and Kashmir creates significant security challenges for conducting peaceful elections. After this, the next thing that you have is mainly going to be political uncertainty. Abrogation of Article 370, that is revocation of Jammu and Kashmir's special status under Article 370. This was done in August 2019. It has led to a lot of political instability with varying reactions across different sections of the society. This has complicated the entire process of re-establishing a political structure conducive to holding the elections. What about the public sentiment, alienation and boycotts? There's a significant sense of political alienation among sections of the population, leading to a lot of different concerns about the low voter turnout ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, or for that matter the boycotts, or especially if you are concerned which area, it is going to be in the Kashmir Valley. Then you have political participation, the willingness of the mainstream political parties to participate in the electoral process and the re-engagement of the electorate. All these are certain key issues that we're supposed to give our focus on. Then you have the logistical challenges. Difficult terrain. The difficult terrain, especially in areas like Kashmir Valley and remote regions, poses logistical challenges for setting up polling stations and ensuring voter access. Amidst all these, Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar emphasized the election's importance, calling it a crucial opportunity for the people of Jammu and Kashmir to exercise their democratic rights. And all these elections will be significant in shaping the future governance and the stability of Jammu and Kashmir, reaffirming the region's place with India's democratic setup. Well, that's all for now. Thank you. Stay tuned for more news.